Broads Media.
What is going on, everyone? Welcome on into this episode of Schmoozed. We have a fantastic guest joining us today, Colin Thompson, tight end of the Carolina Panthers. Perfect week to bring him on. What's up, Colin? What's happening?
Hunter, it's great to be back doing radio with you, man. We've had some time together. We've done a podcast together. We've had a lot of fun over the years.
Yeah, absolutely. And you got the Not For Long hat on as well. I need to get some merch. You got a media company happening. Your work ethic is fantastic, by the way. It's I love the fact that you're in the NFL and just off to the side. It's, you know what? In my spare time, let me just dive deep in. And you do it to such a legit degree. I love it. I love everything you're doing, dude.
Thank you, buddy. I appreciate it. I learned everything from my mom, my dad. I've had some great.
I thought you were going to say me. I really did. Right there. I learned everything from you, bros. I was like, here we go. Perfect segue. But no, your parents, your family, I guess it's a little bit more important to me.
Hunter Brody's a rocket ship, and that's because he works his ass off. The guy's an absolute beast. Don't let anybody tell you anything differently. And that's everybody listening to this. They know that because you are visible all the time. Everyone's going to want a piece of Hunter Brody. We do it Not For Long Media. If you want to come work with us, we'd love to have you.
Oh, I was hoping you were going to say us at the Carolina Panthers, and now I got all excited.
Yeah, we need another tight end because I'm going to get cut after this weekend. So yeah, go ahead.
Stop saying that. All right, well, you mentioned the game. I just want to get your overall thought. We're going to bounce around. I know you're a big Flyers guy. We are going to hit on so many topics today, but I do want to get your thoughts on just the overall approach. I'll give you my opinion. The Eagles should not have won that game. I believe your locker room is probably kicking yourselves thinking you let one slip. I don't love what I'm seeing out of the Eagles offense at all. It's not very good. But I want to get your thoughts on what you saw from your perspective.
Well, we started off hot. I don't think we've trailed in the first quarter of any game this year. And we're 3-2. So, not ideal in that perspective. But, the last 2 weeks played two good teams out of the NFC East, and that's Dallas, and everyone's taking note of that. And then the Eagles, right? You cannot let teams, hang around in this league. They have a lot of really good players, and the Eagles have a lot of really good players. And simple as this, it's basic football. We could not affect the passer enough, and we could not protect our passer enough. And that's on us. That's on me. I need to be better 100% as a player, as a protector, as a run blocker, as a route runner. I need to deep dive into what I'm doing to get better at those things, to perform at a higher level on game day. And I did not perform at my best this Sunday. So, yeah, the Eagles are a great team, a lot of success as a franchise. And I've covered that media market in Philly for years, doing Eagles and pre and post game live and talking about the team and the players. So I probably knew everyone a little bit differently than most players, but I digress. Yeah, it was not a great Sunday, not a great finish to a Sunday, I should say. And, when you get a punt blocked, and we still had opportunities to win down the stretch there after the punt block. So, that's on us and that's on me, and we have to be better, and I have to be better moving forward.
Yeah, and I know it's always, next game, we put it behind you. And, of course, you don't just put it behind you without studying the film and really analyzing what went wrong and all. But, you're in this now, and what's it like in the locker room and when you go to the practice facility now, knowing you let it slip, but you also have to turn the next page to the next week because the next opponent will be here in a blink of an eye. What's it like for the week kind of to prepare when this happens?
Well, from the Eagles standpoint, they play Thursday night, so they literally – probably watch the film on the flight home. It downloads immediately to your iPad, and then that's it. And they're moving forward, maybe a little bit Monday, and they're moving on to I think they're playing Tampa. So, So they're moving on right away. They're facing, they faced us in the NFC South, and they're facing Tampa. So, obviously they'll have their hands full with a great team, the Super Bowl champs. So for us, you got to watch the film. You got to turn the page. I probably watched the film 3 or 4 different times. My snaps, everybody's different snaps, special team stuff, things I can improve on. And, try not to overreact, but underreact, try to toe the line. You try to check your process throughout the week and see, okay, I didn't maybe play my best game. What did I do differently this week? Okay, what do I need to add? But then also not freak out and reinvent the wheel per se, and just go back to what you do well. And that's fundamentals and attention to detail and all those little things, and remaining focused on the task at hand, letting your body recover, right? We're in week 6 of the NFL for 3 weeks of preseason. So you're looking at almost 3 months of football, and you have to balance all these different things. But it's a part of the game. That's a part of the deal. And every team is facing that, right? We're not the only team in the Carolina Panthers facing these, part of the season. So you get to get back to the grind. You get to create that edge. And then, right, you lose 2 straight. Maybe we lost an edge a little bit, but you need to regain that edge and then bottle that and then take that with you the rest of the year so it doesn't happen again. You can't lose back-to-back games in this league. And that's something we're not trying to do this week and play Minnesota, a team that's played a lot of teams really tough and have a lot of really high-end talent, just like the Eagles do.
Yeah, and look, you played for Matt Rhule in college, and now you're getting the experience of Matt Rhule at the NFL level. And basically everywhere he goes, you see success, whether it's Temple, Baylor, now in the NFL with Sam Darnold and all. It's an amazing story. I'm always rooting for him. Do you see the same version of the college Matt Rhule? Do you see a little bit more experience, a little bit more knowledge? I mean, he's always had knowledge, but as you continue to do it more and more, you only gain more knowledge. Or is this the same version? He's the same exact guy, just still getting it done at the same way.
He's the same exact guy to me. I think maybe his tone's a little differently because he's talking to 25, 26, some 21, 20, some 20-year-olds. But he's talking to people in their 30s. He's talking about guys that are playing hundreds of NFL games, guys that have made a lot of money in this league and have done it the right way for a long time, been through the ups, been through the downs, won Super Bowls, lost Super Bowls. It's a much different tone, but it's still the same expectation of doing your job at the highest level, remaining focused, executing, being a good man on and off the field, all those things that Coach Rhule believes in. But he's really simple to play for, I'll be honest with you. Everyone always asks me about him because he's so polarizing, he's so successful, and he's a great story in college football because he's a good person who's done it the right way, in my opinion. And, he's been a mentor of me. He's been a friend. He's been a coach. He's been a critic. He's been, everything that you need to be a successful football player and also have a relationship, player to player, person to person, peer to peer. So he holds everyone to the same standard. And that's just being the best version of yourself every day. And if you're not, ask yourself why, regroup and figure it out, turn the page, and then, create that edge. And that's the whole thing that we need to do. I need to do is keep that edge, keep that chip, that Temple tough mentality, that Philadelphia mentality that, that you're going to come back to work the next day and attack it and have an open mind.
I love it. I literally love it. I'm curious, the same type of question, but maybe applied to the quarterback position. And this is no knock on any college football quarterbacks. A lot of them do take the jump and whatnot. But, is there a different tone, a different way about it? And maybe it's the same answer. You're dealing with, let's use Sam Darnold as the example. He's a young kid speaking to 30-something-year-olds. As a leader, I would imagine it's got to be different from that college atmosphere when you're a senior talking to freshmen compared to when you're a 24, 25-year-old quarterback talking to 30-year-old men. I could be wrong, but I'm just curious from a leadership hype-up standpoint, is it the same as well?
It's the same. It's a great question because, right, it's the same age, but once you feel like when everyone turns 21, you're kind of all the same age. You just have maybe different maturity levels. I guess that's a better way to put it. So, yeah, Sam is just the man. He's a franchise quarterback, and he embodies all of it. The good, he takes the bad. He's so mature. He's been through it. For being a younger guy, I think Sam's younger than me, 24. 25, he's played a lot of football when he was with the Jets, and here he's played a lot of football, and he's had a lot of success. So I love playing for Sam, but it's a great question about the maturity of players because you have players from all walks of life. You have players that are all ages, but we're one of the youngest teams in the league. I think we are the youngest team in the league. So there's a unique aspect to that where you're learning games and, okay, yes, it's a loss in the NFL, and they stink, and they are brutal, especially 2 in a row, but there are 17 games in a season now, 18 weeks with the bye week. This is for the long haul. This is not a 10-week season with the bye week and then a 2-week break and then a bowl game. This is a long haul, 3 preseason games, week off, 17 games in a bye week. Lucky enough to make the playoffs. You're playing up over 20 football games in a very short span. So how are you going to handle that? How are you going to handle practice? How are you going to handle your mentality? There's so many things that are involved in it. And that's why, it's one of the most popular sports in the world because of the challenges it presents.
Yeah, for sure. And I always like to relate things to the best way possible of, when I was an athlete and whatnot. I remember I was a role guy. Look, 6th, 7th defenseman. Sometimes I was in and out of the lineup. I really had to grind in my college career. Chip pucks off the glass, you know what I'm saying? Block shots in practice. But but sometimes I would look at my teammates that are on the first line D pairing. And I remember playing club hockey at the time, and one defenseman was committed to Colgate. The other was committed to Penn State. And I'm sitting there watching them in practice. That's the little things that are just so special with why these players are where they're at today. when you watch Christian McCaffrey, or you just see them do that, those type of players, do you just like, wow, that's it. That's the little stuff. Those are the details. That's the way they emphasize the little things that goes, that's why Christian McCaffrey is Christian McCaffrey. You ever just sit back and kind of admire it?
I do all the time, and it's interesting because we've become closer friends over the years. And last year he was in and out of lineup more and battling some injuries. Obviously this year a little bit too, but he's feeling better, and that's awesome for our team. But I think with Christian, like I've said it to everyone, obviously he's the best player I've ever played with. He is an absolute machine in all aspects. If you had to put the 10 most important things with football, he's a 10 out of 10 in all of them. Speed, agility, quickness, toughness, speed, mindset, intelligent level, understanding of the offense, understanding of the game of football, believes in the history of football. His dad won 3 Super Bowls and played 13-something years in the NFL. And he understands all aspects of the game. He's a pure football person, but also can be a normal guy off the field and have, awesome conversations. And it's hard to toe that line. It's very unique to do so. To be able to go perform in front of the world and all of a sudden just click off and just be a normal person and not let your business bleed into your personal life. So no, I mean, I'm going all over the place, but Christian is the best I've ever been around. He's the best walkthrough player I've ever seen. He's the most dialed in, detailed person I've ever seen. And again, like you said, those simple plays that look really simple to the common eye, if you do them all the time as a pro, he does those simple plays all the time, and he just makes people look really silly, and they're the best athletes on planet Earth. So it's credit to Christian, credit to his work ethic, credit to the way he attacks every day. The guy is an absolute beast, leader, and lucky to call him a friend and teammate.
Yeah, that's something I'm so fascinated with as someone who studies the sports world. Once you hit you're the best in the best league type of category, the LeBrons, the Tom Brady's, the McCaffreys right now, Lamar Jackson, like these players that are just on an unbelievable level, it's mind-blowing to think about, how they got there, how they're doing it. I'm fascinated with like the elite of even left tackles, right tackles, Lane Johnson. You go to war in those trenches and all. You go to war in those trenches, it's just amazing how they perfect the craft at the highest of the highest level, which always blew my mind. But I want to get to this. Your journey was awesome, and it's inspiring, I would say. You really battled, you really grinded, you were playing in some of the leagues that folded and all. Tell us a little bit about that, and then I want to kind of tap into your mindset throughout, how you battled through, because definitely not easy.
That's a great question. I don't even know where to start. I guess I'll start when I came out of college and went right into the NFL. So I went to the New York Giants, and as a kid, I wanted to play in the NFL. My mom's friend growing up was Tim Lewis, and Tim was the defensive coordinator for the Giants. So we were able to go to games. We were able to meet Jeremy Shockey and a lot of great tight ends and a lot of great people in the Giants organization. And that was kind of the first team I was a fan of. Was not an Eagles fan growing up, but if I'm trying to talk about the Flyers, and I'm a Phillies and a Sixers fan, and nothing against the Eagles, I was an NFL fan as a whole. Really, I supported the Eagles and watched all the games with family, and cheered and booed and tried to make educated decisions and dissect the game instead of really being a fan. That was always what I was drawn towards. I'm drawn towards players and talent. So I get to the Giants, and I was the 80 in my email is for Jeremy Shockey. It's been this was just like the first tight end I ever kind of found out about, and he was a beast. Really modeled my game a little bit after him, but really truly Jason Witten. I'm going all over the place here, but just touching on a few topics and thinking through my journey. So yeah, so I go to the Giants and I go into my locker there. I didn't even pick my number. Number 80 is hanging in my locker. Jeremy Shockey's number. And I was like, wow, this is a really touching, cool moment. So played for the Giants. I was there for a short period of time. I got drafted in April, and then first preseason game, it's early August. We're playing the Steelers. I wake up the next morning after the game, played a couple snaps. Like I said, first preseason game, wasn't going to play a lot. And I was the sixth tight end there, and woke up and had crazy stomach pain and ended up getting emergency appendectomy. So that was a really tough time for me, because here I am, I'm finally on a team, and now I have another hiccup. And before that, way before this, when I was in college, to start my career, I broke my right foot. And then a couple months later, I broke my right foot again. And then a couple months later, I broke my left foot. And then all of a sudden, Florida, University of Florida, where I started, was like, hey, man, your career's over. We want you to be able to run around and walk with your kids, and we're going to medically disqualify you, which means we're going to pay for your school still, but you're not on the team. We need your roster spot. And that was a really tough pill to swallow, and so it became a business. And saw some foot specialists, and ended up going to Temple, and kind of the rest is history. And that again takes me back to the appendectomy. Like, here we go again. I finally get a little, little traction. I'm starting to do some good things here, and I'm going to get cut by the Giants. So I get cut. I ended up starting Not For Long Media right after that, when the NFL stood for Not For Long. And then I went to the Bears and really was healthy and got my feet underneath me, and they gave me time. And, again, I had health from the appendectomy, and that went away, but was able to just train in the offseason, finally have some good, healthy offseason. So I was with the Bears for about a year. The day they traded for Khalil Mack was the day I got cut. And then from there, I bounced around really for about 2-3 years. I was out of the NFL. I was in the XFL, that folded. I was in the, because of COVID. I was in the AAF before that, that folded because of financial issues. So just kept grinding. Between there, I was doing podcasts, working for a financial company, doing marketing for my mom's company, LSL Brands, doing Not For Long Media stuff, working at 97.3, doing different stuff for 97.5, doing literally anything I could do, I was saying yes to. I was taking the train 5 days a week to and from Temple University, and training down there with the strength coaches and staff, and watching film and trying to create a full day for myself to get ready for when I go into an NFL building. Hey, I'll be ready for that moment. I won't be too strenuous, because I've been doing that to my body. I get up at 6, I take the train to Philly, I start training at 9, I leave at 3, I come back, eat, do my thing, and then run the marketing for my mom's company throughout the rest of the night. So I had so many different things going on. And I just kept going. What's next? Next thing. Do it to the best of my abilities. And that's really honestly stemmed from my time at Temple with Coach Rhule. And that's what our mantra here is Carolina really is what's next? We're turning the page. We're going to learn. We're going to move on. We're going to learn. We're going to move on. We're going to stay in the moment. So that's kind of when you ask about my mindset, is that's what it is. Be able to compartmentalize, be able to pull from it, and then implement it into your life, implement it into your game. And then also through all that craziness, try to harness my craft and be a better player, keep the mental focus. And, it's such a challenge when you're out in the real world, as you know, when you're in a locker room and you're getting better and you're training, you're in that world. And then you pop out to the real world and you're like, man, what am I doing?
Yeah. What do you do? You have to create your own identity almost all over again.
Exactly. And what am I going to do here? Am I really going to be good enough to play in the NFL? I think I am. And I've talked myself into it, because I've done good things in my career, but can I go out and do it? And got a call from Coach Rhule during the middle of the pandemic. And he's, hey, man, I just took the job with the Panthers. We're going to sign you after the draft. And, that phone call obviously has changed my life. And he gave me the opportunity to be here. And, from there, I took the bull by the horns. And, man, it's been a hell of a ride. Last year was crazy during COVID. And that journey was just nothing short of just incredible. And all the hiccups throughout the year with COVID, and then football being combined. And then this year, starting to turn the page a little bit on that stuff. And, trying to lay down another good year. So it's been quite the journey, man. The mindset's just been what's next the entire time.
I love it, dude. I'm ready to run through a wall. I already had my coffee. I had 6 cups of coffee. I'm ready to run through the wall. I love it, dude. The couple of things that you hit on that I definitely want to bounce off of, but I guess the first thing would be, hold on, I had it and I lost it. Oh, yes. You scored that touchdown against the Bucs in 2020. Dude, come on. What went through your mind? I went to your Twitter the other day, and of course it's pinned to the top. I'm like, let's go. I watched it 75 times again just because I remember when it happened. I jumped up off my couch, went a little red zone, had all the games on. I'm like, yeah, let's go. But what was that like, dude?
It was incredible, man. I hit the ground. I'm like, holy shit, I just scored an NFL touchdown. Literally. That's what my thought was right away. And also fired up because at the time, I'm trying to remember. I think we were struggling to score, or I forget what it was. It was something like maybe our third down wasn't as good as we wanted to be, or our red zone touchdowns weren't good. I forget what it was exactly, but I was jacked for that. I'm like, boom, we're rolling. Like, I was able to impact the team. And honestly, that was the best thing for me, because I've been a part of so many teams over the years, and my role's just been limited. I'll come in, I'll have big goal line, or just different things. I don't say limited, but I haven't been able to really sink my teeth into it. Maybe practice squad tight end, and you're kind of in and out of the lineup or whatever. But here I'm was a major part last year and this year as well. It's the things we're doing, especially in certain situations. So that was really unique. That was really unique for me and a fun opportunity. And to be able to score and celebrate with my friends on the field. And,
when you walked up to the line of scrimmage, though, were you going, you better catch this fucking ball, you motherfucker, go to get yourself ready for it, or what?
You know what? I've scored off, not a lot, but in high school and in college, that's how I got open a lot, right? I do a lot of run blocking, so it's a lot of bluffing, and then you pop wide open in the end zone. So I've had a lot of experience with that type of play because it's unique in the sense that the ball's up in the air for a while and you're kind of wide open, but people are closing on you and you have to sell it the run enough. You can't just sell the run a little bit. So went in there, sold the run. I was just telling myself, focus. You've done this before. Just focus. Do your job. Do your job. Do your job. Do your job. So went in. The guy bit on it. I just did a little quick swim move on him and then just sprinted to the back corner of the end zone as fast as I could. And the wind was blowing. The ball popped up a little more than I think Teddy and I wanted it to. And that's Teddy Bridgewater when he was our quarterback last year. So it was just an incredible moment. And I'm on that tweet. That's still pinned. I didn't even know. I guess I did know. I just forgot it's pinned up there still. Really, it's a credit to my family, my friends, the coaches, the people, like even guys like yourself and all the people over the years that have believed in me and I've worked with and had fun with. And, that all matters. That it's all part of it. It's not been the easiest grind. It has not been, especially when you want to be a NFL football player and know you can be and think you can be. When you find yourself doing all these different things, but being an NFL football player, to hit in the back of the end zone, it's a 7-yard catch. I always say it just fell in the blue paint, which makes it a touchdown and which is exciting. So it was really exciting for my family, honestly.
No,
my friends.
you don't downplay that as if it's just a standard 7-yard catch down at
It
midfield.
was big, man. It was big, bro. Any other 7-yard catch that wasn't in the end zone is just a 7-yard catch, but it was a touchdown against the Bucs. And it's funny. I ran to the sideline, had some really warm embraces from a lot of people. I'll never forget that. And some special moments there. And again, this is a unique part about going to work with all your Temple family, all the coaches, all the players, all the people that you went to war with for 3-4 years that I was there. They're all here. So that's really unique in that sense. So I walked back and I just was like, oh my God, I cannot believe I scored, man. This is crazy. And I scored a touchdown and Gronk didn't score. And then 3 quarters later, they ran the same exact play in the same exact spot and Gronk scored wide open. I was like, well,
you know what? They saw you. They said, I could do this too, baby. Colin Thompson's out there doing it. I got to match the GOAT.
If he can do it, he definitely can do it.
No, I didn't want to say. I wasn't saying it in that way. I was saying it as like I got to one up the GOAT. You know what I'm saying? But all right, not for long media. Let us know about this, man. This is awesome. I like I said, I don't know, but I know how much time goes into the football world and perfecting the craft to your best ability. The fact that you have, and do you still do stuff down in down the shore, coaching with the offensive coordinator as well? So you have a little bit of mixed of being an offensive coordinator from the road. You do not for long media. You got the NFL lifestyle. It's amazing. But tell us about the great things. I'll link all the not for long media stuff down below in the description too.
Oh, you're the man. No, I'm down in Cape May. That's where I live. And I do a little consulting now, not the offensive coordinator, but just a little consulting involved a little bit.
Okay, it's a little Jim Bob Cooter action like we got the Eagles consultant. They love throwing that word around.
Consultant, yeah, which pretty much tells him, hey, come and go as you please and set your hours and go from there. And they end up being really involved, I'm sure. All the consultants I've been around in football, they're just diving in and they love it. Yeah, so honestly, not for long media, it's changed in a bunch of different ways. Obviously, you and Mike have been a part of it, Mike Gill, and I've had just a bunch of different versions of it, trying to figure out what I want to do with it and different avenues and changing different ways and different logos and you name it, man. We're just trying to figure it out. I'm just trying to put the best product out there. And then, obviously, okay, what's the easiest way to do this with football? And then going solo. And then, okay, I need to hire some people because it's January 2021 and I want to take this thing to the next level. And I think I can do it while I play. I think I can do it on an off day. I think I can do stuff like this on the off day and get away from football a little bit and restart the mind. So I always say this, we're a lot based off of, Joe Rogan minus the 80 million, minus the weed and the booze. That's kind of which way we go. That's kind of what we do. So our last episode is with Morgan Jones, Florida State women's basketball player. And then we had people on like Darren Heitner, who's a sports attorney and author, who's done a ton with the name, image, and likeness stuff in college athletics. Then we'll have, Rear Admiral, Spittin' Chicklets, Barstool Sports, Hill on.
Loved that. Loved it.
He was great.
Yeah.
Then we had Kevin Clark on. He was incredible. Chris Long's been on. Dan Arnold, former tight end. Let's see. We had Brian Dickinson, who climbed Mount Everest and then had to climb back down at Blind.
That was absurd. I see you tweeting all this stuff, and I check in. These stories are absolutely crazy. Crazy.
We've had Adam Schefter on. We've had Nell Fortner on, Georgia Tech women's basketball coach. My strength coach with the Carolina Panthers on. We've had Malcolm Reed, who's a barbecue master who I love, and I follow all his stuff. Tom McCarthy, broadcaster for the Phillies. Christian McCaffrey. Danny CEO, he's an Emmy-winning lifestyle expert. I've had football operations people on. Leslie Goodell's been on. Colin Gillespie, the point guard for Villanova. So again,
Dude,
we're trying to
I
do.
love the versatility involved.
Yeah,
It's really cool.
Trey Burton's a big one. Doug Ellen, who created Entourage, the TV show, has been on. $20 Chef's been on. We've done a lot, literally just trying to cover all bases, have fun, keep it loose, give somebody the opportunity to listen to a little bit of everything. I'm not just a sports guy. I've never been. And I struggle when I got into things and I'm like, I'm just going to make this sports. And I constantly found myself talking about everything but sports. And again, we talk sports and have a great time. So we have coming up, we have a former Marine, Ozzie Martinez, coming on. Andy Talley, who was at Villanova and had created this unbelievable bone marrow drive. He's coming on. Thilo Kunkel, who's a professor at Temple, who's all about branding and marketing and name, image, and likeness for student athletes. So again, I just like the variety of it. Make connections with so many people around this world, including yourself, that have been really successful and want them to share their story. It's been fun. So I appreciate your support, man. It's been really good to me, and it's fun. And like I said, we have a team and got to manage that, the business side of it. So it's been a good challenge for me. It's been fun.
No, I'm literally going through those same footsteps as well. You know, I started out as a one-man team 4 years ago, and then you got to start hiring people and looking at what's next. And it's like you got a 5-year plan, you got a 2-year plan, a 1-year plan. It's crazy, but it also is it's a good drive. It's a different type of drive because we're so used to it from a sports perspective. There's a whole nother angle to it behind the scenes in business. Are you a little jealous about the whole NIT thing going on, or NIL? I mean,
NIL.
Yeah,
I'm not jealous because it's a great question. There's so much around it. Again, listen to the episodes that are come out here on Not For Long, because we dove really into it about like the legal side of it, what to expect, what we did not expect out of this. Darren brought up some great points as a lawyer, like different things going on. That's a really fun episode. But yeah, I don't know if I'm jealous, but I'm just curious. Like my thing first with all of this is, do the student athletes have the support? Do they have the lawyers to send the contracts to? If Broads Media sends you a contract, or Not For Long Media, or Costco, or Dick's Sporting Goods says, hey, I want you to, represent our brand, and they send a contract. I wouldn't know how to read that contract.
Yeah, I agree.
I wouldn't know how to handle the money that's coming in. Do you have an advisor? Because not everyone has, like I'm fortunate. I say it all the time. I have 2 parents that are entrepreneurs. I have 2 parents that have access to lawyers and, financial advisors and these things, but 99% of student athletes don't have that. I'm extremely blessed to have that. So do they have those people, or what's the university doing? So again, I think there's a big bubble around it. Again, we talked about on there that there's more of a boom that the media is talking about it because it's a touchy topic with the get off my lawn crowd. Like, these kids should be getting paid and they're getting education and all this stuff. And it's like, hey man, this is a basic human right. This is literally just
the NCAA is so, if your argument is they don't deserve to get paid, I mean, the problem is, and you're right, they are getting college free, but at the same time, I mean, the NCAA is some. You're right.
Just football and basketball. Just football and basketball, folks.
Yeah. No, you're right. And the NCAA is just, it's so flawed that I don't understand how you could be supporting the other side. I guess for us though, when we were coming up, TikTok now, it's huge. And YouTube was big, obviously, when I was in college, when you were in college too. It's been a big platform for a while now, but the level of intensity of social media is just even that much larger now that when we were there, it's hard to even put us in that spot because there were no TikToks. There were no, the Snapchats and all, which is what's bringing the revenue in for a lot of these student athletes.
Yeah, there's how many forums, right? There's tons of them. Everyone's trying to get verified. Everyone's trying to make a buck. I think it's great. If you could find a way to create a little business for yourself, create a podcast, create something where you're creating another avenue to bring in some money for yourself as a student athlete, not just, hey, I'm a student athlete, pay me. I think you'll do better. I really do. I think if you have something else going on to pair with it, people will want to connect with that unless you're one of the cream of the crop. And I think too, it's going to create more of a business mind for yourself at a younger age. So it's a good thing. It's not going to hurt the product. The coaches in college have a good grasp on it. These guys aren't at photo shoots for 10 hours. It's a quick appearance fee, possibly. We had Anthony Russo on, a quarterback at Michigan State. He's a former Temple guy. We went to high school together at Archbishop Wood and grew up in Doylestown, PA together. Anthony come on and talked about NIL too, and he's with a couple different companies. He went out to a family barbecue for a Michigan State booster, him and his buddy, and they just paid him to come out and hang out. So he's like, it was cool. I got to meet all these people. I connected with all these business people. I got paid a few bucks, and I got a free meal.
Huh.
So he was like, it was a fun Friday night or whatever it was. So it's unique. I think it's good. It's going to create opportunities for kids. It's going to create opportunities for kids to use their minds a little bit, be a little bit more creative than maybe we were because we didn't have the choice to. So I think overall they're going to get a better education out of it because they have to learn so they don't get taken advantage of. And then you have school and then you have football. So again, you're balancing more things and it's going to make, honestly, life more realistic for those kids because some guys like myself in Florida, we're in a bubble and it's not realistic. Temple is no bubble, though. Temple is no bubble. That's a city school.
Yeah, for sure. But no, it's interesting, though, to think about how it's all changing and where it's even going to go from here. This is just the beginning. This is just opening the door. So it's only going to continue to kind of push forward in that direction. All right. Big Flyers fan you are. Friday is opening night. I cannot wait. I think this team is going to be great. Great might be strong, but they're going to be a good team this year. A structured team, playoff team. I see them making the postseason. Chuck Fletcher made a lot of moves. Where do you stand right now on the Fly guys?
Absolutely love what's going on. I just pray that they just take the big jump this year. I hope they do. I really hope they do. I hope we don't see the 10-game skids. I don't want to, I know it's sports and that is what it is, and they've overcome them before, but I just hope they're really relevant this year because I'm a huge Drew fan. If you're a hockey person, you're going to be a Drew fan. You understand the side of it. That really over the years he has not been fortunate, and he's faced some of the really greats in the history of the NHL, and that's in Ovi and Crosby, and the division they're in is absolutely brutal, and the studs in Boston and Long Island. And listen, I know that's the NHL, and the league's got more talent spread out than ever, but it would be great to see them actually make a legit run here before G's wheels kind of fall off and he goes into the sunset as one of the greatest Flyers of all time. So I hope. I really do. I think what they made this year is an unbelievable change, a little shift. Obviously, Voracek was a great Flyer, turned the page, moved on. Atkinson comes in, he can do it. Obviously, a 40-goal scorer that everyone's a big fan of and excited for that. That was a couple years ago, but can he do that magic? He played a little bit of everything. I think that's going to be good. How's Kevin Hayes going to be when he comes back? Obviously, a lot of sad stuff went on with him this summer. Keith Yandle's a fun addition to the team, talking about personality. A lot of excitement. And who's that? Who's the big guy they signed from the Sabres? Ristolainen, right? So
he's been throwing the body around in this preseason.
So people in Philly are going to love that. Right. And I was like, when they traded a first round pick, my little Flyers group chat with my buddies was like blown up. Like, what is he doing? Chuck Fletcher, Well,
you know why? Because the analytics tell you he's the worst defenseman ever in the history of hockey. And I'm not anti-analytics by any means, but in hockey, I just do not understand this whole, you're going to tell me Ristolainen on the Buffalo Sabres is just going to be the worst defenseman ever on another team. I'm just not buying it. I can't wait for all those morons out there giving me Corsi and expected goals average. Shove it right up.
I think it's a great point with analytics. The analytics thing's funny. So you have all these things that grade players now, but they don't even know hockey. They're not coaches, or they don't even know football. They're not coaches. They're not in the building. They don't really know what's being taught. Something could be taught and could be a positive that you tried it or you did it, but you may have missed your block or missed your catch or whatever that may be. That's the world we live in today. And it feeds the media, it feeds the fan, because you can see grades, you can see things, you can wrap your hands around and kind of feel more a part of it, which is great because we want to bring people more to the game. But I think sometimes it's a false situation. So he's a top pair guy in Buffalo facing, the best of the best every week. And Buffalo is obviously not one of the better teams in the NHL. So I think he's going to have a great year in Philly. I think the depth they've added defensively is huge. I think offensively, Couturier is going to absolutely explode. And they have some young guys coming up, and Frost should be interesting to see what they do. I think they'll make moves too. I really think they do. I think Chuck knows the window is small. Would be surprised if things did not go well as a backup goaltender situation, that they move from Martin Jones, who they signed. I know people say he had a rough preseason, but I think he'll be fine. And then obviously Carter Hart, right? The $1 million question. Did they bring him up too soon? He's still a franchise goalie. I listen to Spittin' Chicklets all the time. Everyone talks about how good he is, all the goalies that they have on, right? Everyone goes out of their way to say it. So it's going to be interesting to see. I think they're going to have a great year. I hope they have a great year. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I think they do. I think they are too. They seem motivated, and that's what I love. The message from AV from the jump was, and I'm saying this in a positive way, almost of like last year. It's like we're moving on from that, but you could tell when he's saying it, it's bothering him. They want to move on to show, to prove. They want the season to be here to prove that that wasn't us. So while they are moving away from it, that's motivating them. And then the moves that they acquired for the locker room standpoint, Chuck Fletcher made it very clear, bringing in how many assistant captains. Broussard is a big one. Yes, and I'm thinking of why am I drawing a huge Cam Atkinson. You bring him in. He wore an A. All these guys wore A's, and last year it was clear that Chuck Fletcher mentioned the youth of this group, and he thought when times got tough, they had a lot of young players in there, and maybe if you bring in more veteran experience. Ryan Ellis come on. I mean, that's going to be huge for Ivan Provorov. So I'm very optimistic. And all the defensive issues last year, and Carter Hart being left out to dry and all, there's no way you're going to see that level of breakdown consistently in their defensive zone. It's one big package. You play as a 5-man unit out there, and everything seems to be a little bit more tighter D-zone-wise just based off of personnel. So we'll see. But I'm excited. I think they can do some damage. And once you get into the postseason, you never know what can happen. And I can see them being a postseason squad.
No doubt. It's going to be interesting to see what happens, man. I hope G has a massive year.
Yeah, I'm a big G supporter as well.
Yeah, I hope he gets back up onto the mountain of the NHL because he could be up on that mountain. I think moving to wing has helped him in his career, keep his legs fresh and do different things. And I mean, I think they're going to be on the national scale a little bit this year. People are going to understand what Couturier is all about and the guys are all about. I'm a big Flyers fan. I'm a defender of what they've done. They've changed the process. They've, got rid of the old guard and they're moving on, but they still have some of the old guard there. That's good. And I'm excited to see what it's going to be, man. I'm excited to watch Friday night. We got hockey tonight on ESPN, which is crazy too.
Yeah, Seattle. I mean, we see Seattle on game 2, the Flyers do, so it'll be cool to see it. But it's always. I remember when Vegas played their first game. It's like, damn, this is so cool. I want to see what it's like out in Seattle and all. I'm looking forward to it. So I'll end it with this. Normally, I start the show at this. We just jumped right into it. Obviously, big coffee guy. How do you drink your coffee? Or are you anti-coffee? Because sometimes I figure out people are anti-coffee, and it makes me uncomfortable.
No, I don't know about that anti-coffee crowd. The energy drink crowd, I don't do well with. Not
like the people. Monsters, the rock stars, dude. I think it was 2 years ago. I said I haven't had a Red Bull in 10 billion years. I was at Target, and it was right in front of the checkout line. I'll give it a shot. I was so jittery, uncomfortable. I hated every second of it. I don't know how people drink that on the day. Or soda in the morning as a caffeine rush. I can't do that either.
Black coffee, man. That's how I like my coffee. The off day, treat myself to a little crumb cake, like an older man, and dip it in the coffee. And then you get a little bit of the sugar in there. You get the caramel going and the brown sugar. That's like the off day treat for me. There's a great little place here in Carolina that's got great bagels and pastries. So I go in there and get myself a little, they say Taylor ham, egg, and cheese, but it's a pork roll, egg, and cheese. And then I get myself a little coffee cake, and enjoy the Tuesday. And
I'm surprised they even have Taylor ham in general. Isn't that normally just us type of I didn't realize. I thought it was just us around here that did pork. Because you could say pork roll or Taylor ham to a lot of people, and they don't even know what either are.
Yeah. Well, first of all, for everyone out there, it is pork roll. It is not Taylor ham. It's the Taylor ham is the brand of one of the brands that make it. Let's be crystal clear here. It's a hot dog. I'm not eating a decent Watson. I don't understand that. Hey guys, let's have a Nathan's. What? I'm having a hot dog.
Well, we're talking about people who are a little different up top here in the North Jersey. You know what I'm saying?
North Jersey crew. Shout out to all those people up there. Those great folks. So, I black coffee, man. It's the only way to roll. It's been a heck of a journey, but
no, I love it. I love it. I've been starting to hit the Starbucks cult. I have hit it. Black iced coffee. I mean, I'm obsessed with either an iced black coffee, an iced cold brew black. This thing just gives me something through my veins. I can't stop. I swear to God, I'll grab two. Sometimes I grab one. I come home. It's like 24 ounces or whatever. The venti, 20 ounces. I'll go back and I'll go grab another one.
Wow. See, I'm not a big caffeine guy. I'm 1.5 cup. I'll go decaf if I want another cup. I cannot handle all that caffeine. I
respect that, though, because you enjoy the coffee so much that you at least still need it.
Yeah.
I'm anti-decaf, but I don't believe in it. It's not even real in my life, but
No.
I understand.
Yeah, I mean, for me, like, I just can't do all that caffeine. If I want to get like a little nap in the afternoon and I'm doing all this stuff, I can't like be crushing caffeine. I
Dude,
just do my
I drink a coffee at 10 p.m. and I'm sleeping at 10:30.
yeah. Yeah,
Well,
so you're
actually, I
just
mean, I do stay up late, but I lied. I'm actually up till like 1 a.m. But my point is, I could drink a cup of coffee, take a nap during the Phillies game, wake up. It's already the 7th inning. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. So I'm you know what I'm anti is iced coffee. I'm out. I'm out on it.
Why? It's
I just
good, dude.
I like the warm
I
coffee.
agree.
You know, it gets me going in the morning. Could be summer. I'm enjoying a warm coffee. I get it. It makes complete sense. I may sound like a psychopath for not being into it, and that's fine. I just personally, you got to go with the warm coffee in the morning. Gets things going. Hot cup of Joe steaming out. That's what I like.
I love it. So I agree with that. That's definitely the best way to go about it. But I have been dabbling with the iced and I can't stop. But with that being said, Colin, thank you so much for joining us today on this episode of Schmoozed. And we'll definitely be linking up pretty damn soon here.
Hunter, thanks for having me, brother. Looking forward to talking soon.